I'm going to be honest with you right now, when I first heard this, I didn't believe it. I actually laughed. I said, there's no way this is real. Not after everything we've watched, not after all the tears, the visas, the families torn apart on camera. But then I saw the screenshots. Then I heard the voice notes. Then I read what was never meant to be public. And suddenly, that familiar 90-Day Fiancé feeling hit me again. That tight feeling in your chest where you realize this isn't just messy reality TV drama. This is real people, real damage, real betrayal. And by the time this story finally came together, I just sat there in silence thinking, how did we miss this for so long? Because what's coming out right now about 90-Day Fiancé isn't one secret. It's not one bad decision. It's not one cast member being messy online. It's layers. Deep layers. The kind that make you rethink entire relationships you thought you understood. The kind that make you go back and rewatch old scenes and suddenly see them differently. And the reason fans are stunned isn't because it's shocking for shock value. It's because it hurts. It hits close. It makes you feel played, the same way some of these people clearly were. I know some of you are already thinking, here we go again. Another exaggerated headline. Another fake scandal. Trust me, I get it. I read your comments. I see you calling out the internet for blowing things out of proportion. I've rolled my eyes at that too. But this time feels different. Because this isn't coming from one bitter ex or one clout-chasing TikTok. This is coming from receipts that line up. Timelines that finally make sense. Emotions that suddenly feel painfully real. And honestly, digging through this messed with me more than I expected. Before we go any further, let me say this like I always do. If you're here, if you care enough to watch this story all the way through, you're my people. And if you haven't subscribed to Talent Zone updates yet, I'd love to have you here. Not because I want numbers, but because these stories hit harder when we process them together. Now let's talk about what really happened. To understand why this bombshell hurts so much, you have to remember why 90-Day Fiancé pulled us in to begin with. It wasn't just drama. It was hope. It was awkward long-distance calls at 3 a.m. It was parents crying at airport goodbyes. It was people risking everything for love in a country that wasn't theirs, with a language they barely spoke, chasing a person they trusted with their entire future. We watched people sell the cars, leave their kids, quit their jobs, and walk into uncertainty because they believed in someone. Some of the couples we're talking about here didn't just become fan favorites overnight. They became emotional comfort characters. People defended them in comments like they were family. They're misunderstood. They're trying their best. Love isn't perfect. We rooted for them through fights, through culture clashes, through those painfully uncomfortable dinner scenes where you can feel the tension through the screen. And that's why this revelation feels like a punch in the gut. Because behind the scenes, while cameras were rolling and tears were being wiped away on cue, something else was happening. Something quiet, something calculated, and it didn't start with cheating rumors or leaked DMs. It started with money. That's the first layer most people weren't ready for. Fans always assume the real secret is infidelity. But no, the first crack in the illusion was financial control. Quiet bank accounts, missing money, promises that didn't line up with reality. Cast members who thought they were building a shared future later realized they didn't even have access to their own earnings. One former insider said, it wasn't just about love. Someone was managing everything, and not in a good way. At first, viewers brushed off the signs. The nervous laughs when money came up. The way certain cast members avoided eye contact during conversations about work or savings. We told ourselves it was editing. It was stress. It was cultural differences. But now, looking back, those moments feel darker. Like warning signs we ignored because we wanted the fairy tale. The second layer is emotional manipulation, and this is where it starts to hurt. Messages have surfaced showing cast members being guilted into staying silent. Being told, if you talk, you ruin everything. Being reminded constantly of visas, contracts, and public image. Imagine being thousands of miles from home, relying on one person for legal status, housing, money, and emotional support, and realizing that same person is using your fear to control you. One message that's going viral right now reads, I stayed because I was scared. Not because I was in love anymore. That sentence alone shook a lot of fans. Because suddenly those on-camera breakdowns feel different. Suddenly that panic doesn't look like drama. It looks like someone trapped. And then comes the third layer. The one social media exploded over. The double life. While fans watched these couples struggle on screen, some cast members were allegedly living entirely different realities off camera. Dating apps still active. Secret meetups. Messages sent while their partner was asleep in the next room. TikTok went wild when a creator stitched old clips with newly leaked timestamps showing someone sending flirty messages during filming breaks. Comments flooded in saying, "Wait, this was happening at the same time." And, "I defended this man for years." Twitter, or X, turned ruthless. One viral post read, 90-Day Fiancé isn't about love anymore. It's about who lies better on camera. Instagram comment sections became war zones. Some fans felt betrayed. Others felt stupid for believing in something so hard. Reddit threads popped up analyzing every micro-expression, every pause, every awkward silence like it was a true crime case. But here's the part nobody was ready for. The fourth layer wasn't about romance at all. It was about production pressure. Former cast members have started hinting that certain truths were buried to protect storylines. That some explosive moments were cut not to protect victims, but to keep villains marketable. One anonymous post said, "They knew. They just didn't think fans would ever find out." Let that sink in. The idea that some of what we screamed about online, some of what made us cry or rage at our screens, was only half the story. That changes everything. It makes you question who was really being protected, and who was being sacrificed for entertainment. And then, there's the fifth layer. The one that left fans genuinely stunned. The final secret that flipped sympathy on its head. A cast member long painted as the villain has come forward with proof they were covering for someone else. Screenshots, voice notes, even legal documents. According to them, they agreed to take the blame publicly to protect a partner's immigration process and mental health. They stayed quiet while the internet destroyed them. While strangers sent death threats. While their family begged them to speak up. "I thought love meant loyalty," they wrote. "Even if it meant destroying myself." When that hit social media, everything changed. Fans started apologizing. Old hate comments were deleted. Reaction videos shifted tone overnight. People realized the story they thought they knew was upside down. And now the question everyone is asking is simple but heavy. How many other stories did we get wrong? How many tears were real, but misunderstood? How many villains were actually victims who just didn't know how to speak yet? I've seen comments saying, "I feel sick." Others saying, "This ruined the show for me." And some saying, "This makes me respect them more." There's no single reaction, because this isn't a clean scandal. It's messy. It's human. It's uncomfortable. So I want to ask you something, honestly. If you were in their position, would you have spoken up? Or would you have stayed quiet to protect someone you loved, even if it destroyed your image? At what point does love become self-betrayal? 90-Day Fiancé has always walked that thin line between love and exploitation. But this bombshell ripped the curtain back in a way we can't ignore anymore. And whether you keep watching or not, one thing is clear. The story we were sold wasn't the whole truth. And now that the secrets are finally exposed, there's no going back.